everybody, and welcome back to the movie review section of Talk of the Town. My name is Brian Kelley, and I'm here with Eileen Maher. Eileen, welcome back.
Thank you, Brian. It's been an awful long time since our last show.
I know. She always calls me, "Are you ready yet?" I go, "Oh, man." Eileen, you missed the earlier show.
What was it about? I didn't get to
we had
see that.
Eileen Urbeck on, and he's a gentleman in town that he's from Norway. Matter of fact, his daughter hangs out with my daughter. And he's involved with the company. He's the CEO of a company that does a lot of portals, web portals for newspaper companies like the London Times, the St. Petersburg paper and everything, the Atlanta Constitution, Toronto Globe and Mail. But did you watch the elections? CNN, the presidential election? Did you see the hologram? Did you see when they did the hologram? They beamed in a CNN reporter from Chicago to the studios in New York.
They beamed him in?
They beamed him in a hologram. This girl,
no kidding,
Jennifer Yellick or something. They beamed her in, or whatever her name is.
A hologram of the reporter.
Yeah, they had like
so she
50.
Wasn't really there.
They had like 35 cameras around her at all different angles, and it made it look like she was there. And they did it. Will I Am in Grant Park when Obama won the presidency. They had him beamed into New York from Grant Park.
Incredible.
And so his company is the company
that does that?
That does the hologram and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we talked about technology and
can you beam me like somewhere if I want to?
Well, we beamed Charlie McCarthy in today because he was familiar with it. So we had him on the show and we beamed him in for the show today. So it was pretty exciting. So we did some wild things here today.
Fun, that's fun. Gee, that makes me think. And I'm sure our listeners know that the new Star Trek is coming out soon, and that's something I'm really looking forward to.
So enough about that. Let's talk about the movies because there's been a lot on.
Well,
okay, talk to me.
I have all this housekeeping stuff. Other things I want to talk about first. I'm actually, we used to always film during the day because I worked at night. Now I have a new job. I work during the day, and I'm just coming from the Music in Our Schools Month chorus concert at the high school. And I just wanted to.
Was it good?
It was beautiful, and it encompassed grades 6 through 12. So it was the middle school and the high school, and I never come away from a Milton school production without an incredible sense of awe. These kids could sing, and now you're talking, especially I think about the middle school kids. You've got these young ladies and these young men up there, and it's kind of a tough age, and you see them up there, and they're just wholeheartedly into this, singing these spirituals and these beautiful songs that you'd never catch them, they'd never listen to no matter what, and it was just incredible. So again, a beautiful concert tonight up at Milton High School. And also I just wanted to mention I did have a chance to see The Secret School, the Pierce Middle School drama production.
I saw that too.
It's been a while. That's how long it's been since we've met. And I found it really interesting that Mr. Duchesne's, who is the director of the... Duchesne's, who... I guess he's the director, right? He's the director of all the plays at the middle school level. This was actually from a book, and he adapted it himself into this play, and it was wonderful. Again,
it's a great
if you haven't been able to get out and see any of the middle school plays, I highly recommend them. I know that they're doing Mulan in the spring, and I think that's maybe the first weekend in June, the first Thursday and Friday in June, maybe something like that. So if you haven't gotten a chance to get out and see any middle school plays, I highly recommend them. And kudos again to all those who put together the Music in Our Schools Month.
And
the
kudos
concert.
And kudos to the basketball team. Now,
what's going on
I've
there?
been to the last few games. They're having a tournament, the MIAA, I think Massachusetts Intercollegiate Athletic Association, and Milton boys are in Division II South. And they are unbelievable. I went to the
Did they win last night?
And they won last night. I went to the game.
Where was it?
The game was at South Newton against Franklin. So they were
it
neutral
has to be
court.
Neutral. Mm-hmm.
And so I know this show, most of you are going to see this after the final game. If you're watching this game on Friday night, what's today, the 4th? Tomorrow, the 5th. If it's the 5th of March and you're watching this, they're playing the 6th at UMass Boston in the final game. I think against Catholic Memorial. I'm not.
That'll draw a huge crowd.
But there's a 4 o'clock game. It's the final game at UMass Boston. Milton's boys varsity Milton High School basketball, and just it's been talk about inexpensive, great entertainment. I bought $7, and I enjoyed it more than going to a Celtics game.
Oh, absolutely! It's exciting to see the kids play.
What a country! Now we just cut out, but you got about 10 minutes left.
I got one more thing. Oh, I'm supposed to stop this. Speaking of that, right? All right.
Okay.
I just want to mention something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm sure many of you know Mike Madden, the high school soccer coach that recently had some routine back surgery and unfortunately has suffered some paralysis as a result of that surgery. There is the Friends of Mike Madden committee, and hopefully Brian will get this information for me up
I
and
just
on
saw
the
I
screen.
just saw the Milton Times today came out with an article about it. Had a picture of his family.
Oh, good. I haven't seen today's Milton Times, but the Friends of Mike Madden committee are holding a fundraiser, and it's going to be on April 3rd over at the IBE, the Electricians Hall, over
In Dorchester,
on Freeport Street in Dorchester. It's April 3rd. And there's a phone number, 617-929-6000, if you want to get involved. They're going to have a, what do you call that? The thing where you write the not the raffle, the silent auction. They're having a silent auction.
How can you forget after all the money you spent at the celebration for education?
I know, I spend so much every year. They're having a silent auction. They're looking for people to donate things. They're looking for people to come and have a good time and support this wonderful cause. If you know Mike Madden, you know he's extremely active in town and has been for many, many years, not only running the program up at the high school, which he runs, I think that must be 9 months out of the year.
They said he's a graduate of Milton High.
Yes,
his
he
wife
is.
is too.
They're both Milton people. A great, great family. There are 5 children. My son TJ's good friends with his oldest son Ryan, and that's how I know the family.
Has the paralysis dissipated somewhat?
You know, I haven't seen him in a while, but
is he getting progressively
there's
moving
definitely
forward?
Hope. There's lots of hope there, and I know he's working really hard.
And the youngest is only about a year and a half, or less.
Just
2 months or something.
Yeah, a couple of months at the most. So, hopefully you can help, get involved, come out, donate something. I'm going to be donating 5 of my favorite movies. So you get to come and bid on that.
You get the 5 of your favorite movie reviews?
No, the real movies are not my reviews. So again, that's 617-929-6000. It's the Friends of Mike Madden Committee. And the event is set for Friday night, April 3rd, 7:30 at the Electricians Hall. Excellent. Over on Freeport Street in Dorchester, and you'll see me there.
He seems like he's got a good attitude.
He's got an awesome attitude.
He's joking with his wife about he's having a race with his newborn to see who walks first. Talk about a good attitude.
He does. They're very lucky. They have a lot of extended family here in town, and his attitude, and being a nurse and having seen firsthand myself how important a good attitude, the mind-body
Maybe he'll see you
connection.
at the wound center.
I hope he doesn't see me at the wound center. I don't want him to have any wounds.
Only if it was good for him, help him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That hyperbaric chamber you talked about.
That's a good point.
Hey.
You
know what? It might be something they hadn't thought of. That is
I don't think there are any studies out there right now about nerve damage and hyperbarics, but hey, you never know what's going to come up. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully a fun night to be had by all and a good cause. So let's talk about some movies here, Brian.
I'm ready.
This will be an unusual show because there's actually quite a few movies that I have seen that I planned on talking about that Brian has seen. Can you believe it? Brian
I'm on the cutting edge.
Some movies. Brian never sees any movies.
Well, you gave me movie passes. I went.
I did. I gave Brian some movie passes for Christmas since he never seems to get out. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I saw in the movies first, what I liked and didn't like, and then we'll talk about some DVDs. And if we have time, we'll just touch on, we didn't have a chance
to meet. Folks, we're not going to touch on anything.
I was very upset with you because we didn't get a chance to do a show before the Academy Awards, and I always love to say what I think is going to win and why. And
did you write your predictions down? How did you do?
No, I didn't write my predictions down.
Oh, sure.
I've been too busy. See, it's terrible working full-time days. I don't get anything important done like going to the movies.
It would be nice to do a movie review full-time.
Yeah, it would.
Any of you willing to give her enough money so she can do this full-time? Give us a call.
Let's talk about movies. I'm going to start first with a children's movie. I shouldn't call it a children's movie. It's a movie called Coraline. It's rated PG. Coraline. And it's directed by the same...
C-O-R what?
Cora, C-O-R-A-L-I-N-E. Coraline. You've heard of it.
Right.
You didn't see that one?
No.
Anyway, it's directed by the same man who directed Nightmare on...
Elm Street?
No. Christmas Night? Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas. And I always thought that was Tim Burton, but then I found out it's not. Tim Burton, I guess, executive produced that. So it's if you know Tim Burton and anything that Tim Burton gets his hand into, it's quirky, it's a little bit strange, and what was unique about this, though...
Sounds like Talk of the Town. Yes. Quirky, it's a little strange.
What was unique about Coraline is it's made with stop-action, like clay-type figures. And they actually filmed it in 3D. So these are basically 3D characters. When you think of a lot of animation, it's basically 2D. It's a picture that's drawn. But these are like the old Rudolph and, those ones, Santa Claus is coming to town. You know how they were 3D and it was
Wasn't there one on
stop-action?
Laughing that they used? I forget.
It's a story of a young girl who lives with her mother and father who don't pay any attention to her. They're very busy, and she slips into this alternate universe. So actually, it's alternate.
So it's about drugs.
No, although you might do it. Have a few beers before you go, because I have to tell you, it's a very, very odd story. A very I'm not going to say disturbing, but it was just not. It was not all that much fun to watch. Noelle
it's a kid's movie.
was 10. Well, Noelle is 10. She liked it, but even she said, it was kind of odd. It was kind of weird. It was kind of strange. And that can be okay, but I don't think that it worked very well in this situation. Terry Hatcher plays her alternate mother, and she's the skinny little thing. Although Terry Hatcher herself is a skinny little thing.
What's an alternate mother?
She has a mother in this world, and then she finds like a little cabinet.
Oh, the mother in the other world.
A little cabinet that she goes through, kind of like a wormhole, I guess, and she winds up in another world. And the difference is the people in the other world have buttons for eyes, and they try to convince Coraline it's time for you to put your button eyes in. Didn't really care for it. It's gotten rave reviews, AAA across the board, and maybe you'll like it. My 10-year-old thought it was okay.
How come you always see things differently than the rest of the world? Huh?
I don't know.
That's a blessing.
I wonder about that. Next.
That makes you special.
Yeah. One that Brian and I both saw, a movie called Blart-Mall Cop. And let me tell you, I looked at it, I saw, the previews, I thought, stupid, cute, funny. And I decided I had to see it because part of it was actually filmed here at the South Shore Plaza. It takes place in the mall. Paul Blart is played by Kevin James, who you might know from King of Queens and Hitch, the movie with, not Will Ferrell, Will Smith. Takes place in a mall. And some of the scenes were shot
in
Burlington
That's why it's called
Mall
Mall Cop.
and South Shore
It's
Plaza.
in a mall.
And if you happened to be in the South Shore Plaza last summer, you'd notice that these Christmas decorations were up, and you might have thought to yourself, "Jeepers, they're really trying to push the envelope now. Christmas in July." But they were filming, and Noelle and I were there one night when they were actually filming.
You in the movie? Did you check? Did you look?
Pretty cool.
Are you in it?
But we didn't see Kevin James. So Paul Blart Mall Cop, just a silly, funny, goofy movie that basically takes the big fat doofus, Kevin James, and turns him into an action figure. Don't you think? An action movie hero. He's gotten really huge, don't you think? Kevin James, he's gotten really big.
It's a movie. He ate a lot of movie.
He was really big. He was always kind of big in King of Queens, and then he did Hitch, where he kind of slimmed down a little bit.
He's the one from King of Queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is huge in this, and he rides around on his, what's it called?
Yeah, I know.
The thing that the mall
the two-wheel thing, that you lean on. It's from New Hampshire, the company. It'll come to us. What is it called?
It's a little bit of romance. But I guess it was kind of nice to see the big fat doofus be the hero of the movie, because you don't get that very much, But don't you think that's what he was? That's exactly what he was. And he actually gets the girl.
Especially when he's trying to do the moves of trying to make the real athletic moves, and he falls flat in his face.
Although for a big guy, he's pretty limber.
I know, but it was
Did you
fun.
like it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was silly.
You know what you're getting. Silly and kind of stupid.
I didn't mind it. Eileen paid for my ticket, so I didn't mind it at all.
Again, I went with Noelle, who's 10, and she enjoyed it. And you know what? It was okay. Sit back, relax. It's just stupid.
It was kind of neat knowing that they had filmed it there at South Shore.
And then
the Burlington Mall.
Is that South Shore?
Did you see the restaurant in the Burlington Mall that they were in? Ever go to the restaurant there?
No. Oh!
What's it called?
The Nature Cafe, the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah,
Rainforest
they were in the
Cafe.
Rainforest.
That was
we
filmed at
been
Burlington Mall.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's kind of cool. Filmed right here. And again, we have to thank Governor Patrick for opening the film office to get all these films to come.
And you, our viewers, for supporting the tax base that we gave up.
Okay, what else did I see in the movies? I recently had the opportunity to go to Texas for my job, and there was a movie theater directly across the street from my hotel. So as soon as I had the opportunity, when class was over, I ran across the street.
When you selected the hotel, she made sure there was a movie theater within walking distance.
I don't care what else is here as long as there's a movie theater.
Is everything bigger in Texas?
Yes. I have to say happily that's the truth.
Are the theaters bigger too?
The theaters were not that big, no. The men were quite handsome, though. I do enjoy a man in a cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Tom,
so anyway,
I saw get a cowboy hat and boots.
I saw a movie called New in Town, which unfortunately has had very little press, very little PR for it. And it stars Renee Zellweger, who I've always thought was a decent actress, and Harry Connick Jr., who I think is just cute as a button.
Speaking of button eyes.
Yeah. It's a story, Renee Zellweger plays this big wig, hot shot, fancy city corporate executive who goes to this small town in jeepers, someplace cold, Wisconsin, North Dakota, I don't know.
Could be Milton. It gets
Minnesota,
cold here too.
Minnesota. And she's told, she has to whip this little factory in shape, and then they're going to have to close it, and on and on. And Harry Connick Jr. is the local union rep, and it's just a really
What's his
funny...
name? Mitt Romney?
No, he's not a Mormon. No. But New in Town, if it's still out in a few theaters, when it comes out on DVD, I can highly recommend it. When I was telling people in Texas I had seen it, they're like, oh, that's a chick flick. It's not. It's really, really funny. Lots of sight gags, and I think Renee Zellweger is a very, very funny comedian. Mm-hmm. And Harry Connick Jr. is always good. Everything I've seen him in, I've liked him. So that's called New in Town. I think it was PG. I don't even think it was PG-13. It was... I'd say it's pretty appropriate for the whole family. So
and you were new in town.
And I was new in town. See, new in town, so I'm new in town. So again, very disappointed that it didn't get much PR because it's a really cute and funny movie. So new in town. I went out last night to see a movie that the actress in it won the Best Actress Academy Award. It's called The Reader. And Kate Winslet, who you'll know from, of course, Titanic, won the Best Actress Academy Award, so I better go out and see that before I have the show. And I've always enjoyed Kate Winslet. I had read the book and thought the book was okay. Saw the movie last night in my absolute favorite theater in the world, which is Dedham Community Theater, because it has popcorn with real butter. You can get a beer. You can sit down. Real butter.
She wants real butter.
What's real butter? I gotta eat real food. I can't stand that fake food. Look, if you're gonna eat real food. So I sat down, had my big buttery popcorn, my ginger ale, had my candy in my pocket.
Did you eat the big buttery popcorn? You know how bad that is for you?
Sat down, had my popcorn.
It's the last movie review. She might not make it to the next one.
Yeah, I'm all by myself. I have my ginger ale, and I'm just so excited about this movie. And I have to tell you, this was...
I thought they served beer over there.
I didn't have a beer last night because I was by myself and I had to drive home, and I don't drink and drive. But I can't tell you how disappointed I was in this for two reasons. There's no way that she should have ever gotten the Best Actress Award, especially where she was just in a movie called Revolutionary Road. And I'm going to kind of talk about these two movies simultaneously. Revolutionary Road was out basically at the same time, and in it, Kate Winslet stars as a young housewife right after World War II, the big push to the suburbs. She's in this beautiful home in this, subdivision. Her husband is a very, successful, ad writer or something. Her husband's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, so how can you be unhappy if you're married to Leonardo? But of course she is. She's got the two children, and she's very segregated, very alone, very isolated. And I have never seen a movie that has dealt with those feelings of women in the suburbs, alone, isolated, separated
they have
from
a TV
all they
show
know.
about them on Sunday nights. What's that called?
Oh, Desperate Housewives? Oh, that's such baloney. Anyway, Revolutionary Road, you might not be able to find it in the theaters anymore, but the minute it comes out on DVD, I highly recommend it. She and Leonardo DiCaprio, I truly believe, Leonardo DiCaprio has never gotten married. He was actually going out with Giselle there, Tom Brady's new wife, and they broke up. But I think, you can see in his eyes, I truly believe he is absolutely madly in love with Kate Winslet. And it comes across
Can't blame him.
clear. Oh, she's wonderful. She's beautiful. And she's wonderful. So Revolutionary Road, I give it 2 thumbs up. It's rated R. There's a lot of language. There's some sexuality. But I've never seen a movie that dealt so realistically with just the depression. And you say to yourself, what in the world could this woman have to be depressed about? She's in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood with her beautiful children, go to beautiful schools.
It's all about your frame of mind.
I think about myself. Now, I had, so Amy and TJ, they were born. 18 months later, I had Deanna. So I had 3 under 18 months. And I lived in a 2-family house with my mother on the first floor, my brother in the attic. And I had all these.
What was your brother doing in the attic?
We had an apartment in the attic.
Oh, apartment in the attic.
But you know what I mean? I never felt isolated. I never felt cut off. I was in a neighborhood of 2 and 3 families. I had friends. My sister worked down the street. I'd go have lunch with her. I always felt like there was somebody that I could talk to, be with, or dump the kids with if I needed to run away for a few minutes. These women, right after the war, and even up till now, I'd have to say, when I think of my own sister who in the 70s moved away from Dorchester to Burlington. To Burlington. No, really, she was miles away, and the depression that kind of sets in, and you're alone, and you're lonely. Even when I moved to Milton, I didn't really know anybody, and I had all these little kids, and my savior, and I hope that you're watching. I hope that you're watching Donna Meliaros, because she was my savior. I was working out at the gym. Yeah, I was working out at the gym one day, and she came over to me. She goes, "You have kids at Tucker School, right?" And I said, "Yes." And at this time, I had 2 in Tucker and 2 in the babysitting room. And I said, yes, I do. She said, well, I do coffee every Tuesday for the Tucker women. Why don't you come by? And I said, well, I'd love to, but I have 2 little children.
She said, bring them.
Oh, no, please bring them. And from that moment on, I made these connections, and I met people, and I had a place to go and laugh and cry.
She was working on an override campaign.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Revolutionary Road really captures just that overwhelming black depression that can overcome women with children who are alone. But it's never men. The men are he's gone.
It's never men.
No. There aren't too many men staying at home in the suburbs with their children while their wives go off to work. There might be a few. There might be more now with the economy the way it is. But for the most part, it's women. And this, of course, is early 50s, probably late 40s, early 50s. So great movie. Flip side. So if Kate Winslet was going to win, that's the one that should have been. She wasn't even nominated for that. And it's all political. The Reader actually wasn't supposed to be out until this year. And Harvey Weinstein, you might know him from the Weinstein Company, his production company, although they're not the Weinsteins anymore. What are they called? Oh no, it used to be Miramax. That was the Weinstein Brothers production company. Now it's the Weinstein Brothers. They pushed to have this film. And I really don't think the film was ready. I thought the editing was poor. However, if you enjoy lots and lots and lots of scenes of an older woman with a younger man, you will enjoy at least the first half an hour, 45 minutes of this movie.
How about if you enjoy just the older woman?
Oh, and she is. She's beautiful. I mean, Kate Winslet is a beautiful woman, and she lost quite a bit of weight for this. She's usually much rounder and much curvier. And in The Reader, she's definitely lost weight. Before, so. And I think the point was, remember, it's the story of a German woman who meets up with a young man who she befriends while he gets sick, and she kind of helps him home, and they kind of develop a relationship, a very physical relationship, but then a very emotional one too. He reads stories to her, and he loves it. And there were some beautiful, touching points in this film, and it ties in with the Holocaust as well. It's and the young boy that she befriends goes and visits one of the camps in the 60s, and I mean, there's some really beautiful, touching images in the film. But basically, you know what it reminded me of? And I know you like The Notebook, Nicholas Sparks. I am not a big fan of Nicholas Sparks. Don't tell all the viewers at home I like The Notebook. Come on, what do you think I'm like? This felt like a Holocaust story as written by Nicholas Sparks. It was really, I don't know what's the word. Anyway, I did not like it, as you can tell. If you want to, now, if I was the movie reviewer, I'd say I liked it. He liked it because Kate Winslet is not just because Kate, a lot of. Although very interesting, there was full frontal male nudity in it, but not full frontal female nudity. You saw her from the waist up. I'm not even talking about that part because I didn't know what the movie was about, so I was surprised when they linked it to the Holocaust. Oh, you were? Yes, totally. So and it was very sad because nobody came out a winner in this movie, and then after that. 2 days after I see the movie, we have this teacher in Massachusetts that ran off with a 15-year-old. Oh, yes. And it really gave me a completely different perspective. Yes. And how she's probably ruined that boy's life. Absolutely. And, it was sad, I think. And I thought she did a great job at acting. And, they transformed her into an older woman. And how that makeup was atrocious. Atrocious. See, I didn't see that. It looked like a young woman with stuff slapped on her face. God. It was horrible. All right. I liked it. You know what I found that too? I'm not so sure. Were they trying to be sympathetic to the German side of the Holocaust? Because you remember, you see her, and Kate Winslet plays a German woman. I won't tell you what her role down the road is, but she lives in almost, squalor. She lives in this tiny little house in the top of this place, and it's not like a boarding house, sure. Right. Yeah. And then you see towards the end of the movie where the young Holocaust victim, the young woman, and you see this young, not young at this time, she's in her 50s. She's in a beautiful, I felt a little in a Manhattan penthouse. Yeah, well, she was, were the Germans justified? I really had big problems with this. Big problems with this movie. Okay, I see. I didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. The poor little German, and here's this rich Jewish woman in her swanky place with her beautiful. I didn't. I thought it was a tragedy. I thought everyone was. It was definitely a tragedy. You know what it did? It made you realize that not only the people that the Germans massacred, okay, but many of the German people who were involved in that were victims as well of the political machine. Okay? See, that I don't buy. I'm not giving her an excuse. She was totally guilty. But in the movie, she came across like a very ignorant... Oh, she was. She was illiterate. Illiterate, uneducated. I'm not giving that as an excuse. But isn't it sad? It is. She was taken advantage of
just as she took advantage of other people. It was sad. I thought it was sad all around. And she took advantage of that boy.
Absolutely.
So, yes, there were no happy...
it's not a very happy
movie. I thought it was well done.
Neither one is a very happy movie. Revolutionary Road or
Great.
The Reader. Get them on DVD on those rainy Sundays.
So she's in it. It's not going to be happy. So it's not a happy movie.
It's not happy. So I think that's all the movies that I saw in the movies. Let me talk a little bit about DVDs while we have about 5 minutes. Two that
Is that all we have left?
Well, about 5 or 6 minutes. One that I want to... This is my 2 thumbs up must-see movie DVD of the week. It's called Appaloosa, and I mentioned it a while ago when it was coming out. It's by Robert...
You read the book, didn't you?
Yeah, I read the book. It's by Robert B. Parker, who's a Boston author. He does, Spencer for Hire and the Jesse Stone movies that Tom Selleck is in. And I'll have to tell you honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Robert B. Parker. This book I loved. And he also has a sequel called Resolution. So there's 2 great books for you to read, both available at Old Colony Library Network. Put in your request. They'll tell you when it's there. Appaloosa and Resolution. Now, they've made a movie of Appaloosa, and it was directed by...
Something to do with horses?
Ed... Oh, my God, I forgot his name.
Well, look at your nose.
Anyway,
I
don't have any notes. It's terrible. I'm completely unprepared.
You're getting like me.
I can't stay working full time during the day, and I'm running here from a concert.
You don't have any notes?
I have nothing.
Folks, I'm really sorry. If you're a good
Harris.
movie reviewer, send your resume in.
Ed Harris read the book, loved it, decided I want to make this, directed it, and he and Viggo Mortensen play sidekicks in the Old West, and they come into towns and they become the marshals, and they clean the place up. And I love westerns, and this is one of the best westerns I've seen
Texans.
in a long time. You can't go wrong with those 2 actors. It's a movie of few words, but the words that are said are dead on. And the action is fast and furious. And who plays the bad guy in it? Jeremy Irons. Man, is he the best bad guy ever? He's awesome. So 2 thumbs up. You must see Appaloosa. And
is it at the
Renee
theater now?
Zellweger. No, it's not in the theaters. It's DVD. You can get it, rent it.
What, did it ever go to the theater?
It was not out for all that long. I didn't have a chance to see it in the movies, and I was very disappointed.
What qualifies for being at the theater? One day at one theater, and then go, now on DVD?
They'll usually be out for about a week. They'll keep it for a week till they'll do the changeover, yeah. This was out for a little longer than a week.
Obviously...
But not
they didn't think it was that great, or it'd still be in the theaters.
Well, I don't think a lot of people don't go to see westerns unless Clint Eastwood is involved.
That's what I like about Eileen. She's a contrarian.
So you've got to see this. And
she sees the world differently.
I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that this movie will do well on DVD, so please rent it or buy it so that they will then film Resolution. Resolution is the sequel.
So no pirated copies. Pay for the thing, okay? Because those people are ruining it for all of us.
Some other DVDs that I saw... I think I spoke about this last time. Love in the Time of Cholera, starring Javier Bardem, who I fell in love with when he did No Country for Old Men. He was the real bad guy in No Country for Old Men, the guy with the goofy kind of Mo of the Three Stooges bowl cut. But this is based on the novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I think is how you say it. I'm not good with my Spanish. But it was a beautiful, beautiful love story that transcended time. It's about a young man and a young boy, young girl, kind of fall in love, go their own separate ways, and will they or will they not eventually meet up in time? And the life that they each live separately until they do someday meet again. And I have to tell you, there's a scene in it. Javier Bardem is just... He's just got this grin on his face through the whole movie. He becomes kind of a Casanova. He can't have the woman he loves, so he's going to have every woman. And there's a scene where he's in a room and somebody walks in on him with a woman, and he kind of stops what he's doing for a minute, conducts his business, and then the man shuts the door, and he puts the grin back on his face and continues on his merry way. And just, I don't know, that one scene summed up the whole movie to me. It's just like, just... Sex is just a part of his everyday life, and that's the way it goes, and I'm going to be happy, and maybe someday I'll hook up with that woman that I love so much, but in the meantime, I'm going to have a damn good time. So, Love in the Time of Cholera, another movie I can highly recommend. I just loved it, absolutely loved it. The music is beautiful, the setting is beautiful. It's Spain, 1800s. Just the sets, the costumes, the acting, gorgeous. That's a good date night. get a bottle of wine, get a 6-pack of beer, get some
Six-pack
Chinese
of beer.
food, get some Chinese food, sit down and watch Love in the Time of Cholera. You'll really like it. One that I didn't like, and I was very disappointed in.
I'm shocked you didn't like a movie.
Well, I love Gerard Butler, who you'll know from 300. He played the main Spartan in 300. Mm-hmm. And I did like him in...
six-pack men.
What was that one? Anyway, Rock and Rolla is directed by Guy Ritchie, who's Madonna's ex-husband now. Are they divorced? I think they are. He's done Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He does like London mob movies is what he does. And this started out great, and it was funny, but I couldn't understand half of what they were saying. They're speaking English, but with such heavy...
You should put the subtitles on.
That's what I said. If they had English subtitles, I'd be all set. I couldn't understand.
That's what people think of people from Dorchester.
Like I said to Brian, I was just down in Texas, and oh my, did they make fun of my accent, because I'd say, let's go to the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want to park the car? I'm like, oh, brother.
The guy I had on today, Oyvind, he goes, he calls a Z is a Z. They do that in Canada.
Yeah.
And I say, oh, you know the one that calls him a Z? He goes, well, Quincy? He says, come on.
So I would skip Rock and Roller if that was something that you were thinking about seeing. So if you take anything away from today, it would be get Appaloosa. It's rated R, so it's not for the whole family. Get Love in the Time of Cholera. That might be PG-13, although, as I said, there's some very racy. No, that must be R.
Come on.
I think about
Wait a minute. Excuse me for a minute. I'll be right back. What do you want?
Okay. I mean, there's just some beautiful scenes. There's a shot of him in bed with a woman, and it was almost like a painting. It was so beautifully lit, and just, and they weren't, you couldn't see anything. It was just the way they were in their bodies, and it was just mesmerizing. So, as you can see, I love in the Time of Cholera, Appaloosa. Go see Coraline if your kids really want to see it. Again, you're going to pay $3 extra for those 3D glasses, which really makes me mad. And then at the end,
Can you save those glasses? Why don't you keep some in your purse?
Yeah, but they're still going to charge you $3 if you buy the ticket. You'd have to get a ticket to something else and then sneak in.
You mean you have to buy the glasses?
You have to buy the glasses, yeah.
Oh. There they go again. There they go again.
Making their money. All right, that's 27 minutes, Brian.
You better say goodbye.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Don't forget, please.
Thank you for watching Talk of the Town. Say goodnight, Eileen.
All right.
Good night, Eileen.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.